sort of like lifey topic type video. I thought this was pretty apt to do it this time of the year because obviously everyone's going back to school and uni in particular, and I thought it was just time that I put this video out there. So I have written a blog post on this in the past, but I thought I would put it out there on my channel. I will link that blog post down below. So anyway, what am I going to be talking about? Today's video is all about why I left university after a week. And this is coming from someone who's now 2 years on after doing it. And I just want to tell you, like, looking back at it, and why university wasn't right for me and why university isn't right for everyone. Obviously this is my own experience, these are my own feelings. You only know yourself, and you can only put yourself in your own shoes, really. So that being said, I applied for university back in 2014, or I was due to go to university in 2014 at the University of South Wales in Cardiff to study photojournalism. And up until that point, my whole life I'd wanted to be a photographer. I studied photography at college for 2 years. That was just an obvious route for me. It was something that I'd always known that I was going to go and study. I always thought I'd go to university. So yeah, I applied and I got on my course and was accepted onto it. And so September of 2014 rolls around, and it's the day to leave. We've got all of my stuff for my student halls, and yeah. So first thing, I cried like anything when we left home, obviously because I'm moving quite a distance away. I was leaving my family behind, my 2 dogs behind, and it was a very emotional time, and it finally like sunk in. But at that point I was still confident I'd made the right decision in going to uni. So we made the long trip to Cardiff, we settled everything in, and the first night I was still a bit like shaky because I knew my parents would have to go home at some point, and it was just very nerve-wracking. I do want to say my halls were lovely. Obviously it was like a new build at the time. It was Student Castle, which is literally just down the road from the university campus in Cardiff. I will insert pictures of what my room looked like. It was so nice. You had like loads and loads of built-in storage. You had a really nice sized bed. You had a waterfall like shower head. It was just really, really nice. Some of my flatmates had already moved in the previous week, so they had sort of claimed their own territory in the kitchen, which was kind of annoying because I found like there was nowhere to really put any of my stuff, and I kept most of it in my room. But at that point I was still like fairly confident I'd made the right decision. And over the next couple of days, like, my parents were supposed to go home, and I was having a really hard time with that. I am an only child, and I spend the majority of my time at home with my parents. So that was really, really difficult for me, and I would find myself just like crying in the shower for no particular reason, just the fact that I didn't want them to leave. Fortunately, my dad could stay up in Cardiff for another week, and my mum ended up getting the train back home. So that was good that I still had someone there for that first like freshers week. Little did I know that that first week of freshers I was going to be ill, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. I didn't know specifically what ill I had. It was like a really like flu-y type thing. Also, that was really playing my anxiety up, and I was getting panic attacks. And I just felt very isolated and very alone, and I quickly realised that university was not something that was going to be right for me. I ended up going to one lecture, and I found because obviously I'd been ill, I was staying with my dad for that week because I didn't want to be alone in my student halls. I found myself being very isolated, and everyone had sort of already made friends on the course, and I at that point realised that it wasn't the right stage for me, and I was having a really tough time adjusting to student life. I'm not a partier, I'm not someone who will go out and drink till they're paralytic. That is by far not me, but I still, even though I knew that there's like that whole clubbing and partying side of uni, I knew that either I would probably adjust to it and still involve myself in that, or you don't have to, and there's many other like communal aspects of university. And like I said, the uni itself, the facilities, the lecturers were actually all really, really nice, and the people in my flat were really nice, so it's nothing against them. It's just simply the fact that I think I just realised at that point that it wasn't going to suit me. Like, some people could say, oh, you should have stuck it out longer than a week. You know in yourself if that's going to be the right decision for you. And just being so far away from home, I was feeling like the stuff on the course is stuff that I'd already like learned before in college, because obviously I'd done 2 years of photography. Just feeling really, really down about myself and the situation I was in, and I didn't want to feel like that, and I found it really, really tough. And I went and saw one of the counsellors there, and I was like, I told her everything that I was feeling, and she was like, the sooner you decide that you want to put in your application to leave, the better, because they can stop your finances and you won't have to actually pay for any of the time you spent here. And so, like I said, that like the week after that I was there, I left. We packed all my stuff up and my dad took me home, and that was like the best feeling. That moment I handed in my piece of paper to say that I was taking myself out of uni, just like such a wave of relief came over me, and like I smiled for the first time that week. I was just so like in a really bad state when I was there for that week, and I know that like homesickness and all that sort of thing, that comes with being at uni, and people do get over it, and I'm not saying just because you feel that in the first week you should leave. I think you know in yourself whether you're gonna be able to push through that, and if uni is the right like path for you, or if like you need to get out of there. And for me, that is what I needed to do. And I came home, and I was in a very difficult stage of my life then, because obviously I'd always thought I'd go to uni. I'd had a plan that for 3 years I'd do photojournalism, and it was going to set me up for life, and I'd be a photographer one day and all that. And then I was finally in the position of, I was at home, I was like, what am I going to do? And again, I was very down. I obviously went out and started looking just for like a temporary job, and I found that obviously in Cath Kidston, and I worked there for about 1.5 years. All that time I still didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. I knew I didn't want to be in shop work for the rest of my life, but sometimes it felt like maybe that was all that I'd end up doing. So that was a very like turbulent, emotional time. I really enjoyed it there, don't get me wrong, but it was just not what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And obviously I'm in the apprenticeship and job I'm in now, which is in optics, so completely different from where I started out 2 years ago, thinking I was going to go into uni and do photography for 3 years, and now I'm working with opticians and we're visiting people in their homes to give them eye tests. So your life, I always say your life is mapped out for you, and sometimes things will come up and you don't expect it to, and in that moment you think, I have no idea where my life is going to turn. But things always happen for a reason, and obviously I was meant not to go to uni. If I hadn't gone to uni, I probably wouldn't have met Darren, and we wouldn't be planning our wedding together, and obviously it wouldn't be in the job I am now that I really, really enjoy. So, that being said, yes, university wasn't the right path for me. I never even thought I'd ever do an apprenticeship. I never thought that was something I'd do, purely because I think when you think of an apprenticeship, you either think of like mechanics and that sort of whole like industry, like mechanics and plumbing and all that like building side of things, or you think of like, there's obviously like hair apprenticeships and like hair and beauty and that sort of side of it, but I never knew that there would be like something in optics that I could do. And I am in fact the first apprenticeship person for Specsavers Health Court, which is really exciting. So I never would have thought I would have gone into doing an apprenticeship and that side of things. So obviously people are starting to go back to uni either in their first, second year, or like I said, just starting for the first time, going into their first year. Give it a go. That's all you can do. If you find out after a week you don't like it, if you find out after a month you don't like it, if you find out after the first year you don't like it, it's okay. Like, you may feel like, especially if it's after a year, you think, oh, I've wasted a year doing a course I don't like, or I've spent all like the first year at uni and I don't actually want to be here. The sooner you realise either that the course is not right for you and you maybe need to change course, or that altogether university is not right for you, the better. Because you can move on with your life and you can go on a different pathway, whether that be going to a different uni, choosing a different course, or just like getting yourself out there by just getting a job, or like I did now, an apprenticeship. There is going to be that time in between. For me it was a couple of months where I really didn't know what I wanted to do, and was just starting to look for temporary work. That obviously comes with it. You're going to have a period of time where you need to let your mind just recover and analyse what you want to do next in your life. And you don't need to know straight away what you want to do for the rest of your life in those 2 months after you leave uni. It's totally fine. The same with like once you've left school or once you've left college. You don't have to know what you want to do for the rest of your life right in that like first couple of weeks. You can do what I did, just get yourself into like a temporary job, and with time things will pop up. You'll realise what you do and don't want to do in life, and sometimes you have to do these things to realise you don't want to do them, and that was what it was like for me for uni. Fortunately, because I left after a week, I didn't have to pay any actual finance. I could give like my grants back, but I didn't have to actually pay for any financial, like out of the £9,000 a year. In the same breath, I want to say that university is for some people. I don't want to totally put you off it just because it wasn't right for me. My best friends are at uni, my cousins are at uni, and they've all loved it. So yeah, really, you are the only person that knows in your mind whether you're going to like it or not, and that is just a decision you have to make. Like I said, I will link my blog post down below from when I actually left uni, because it'll be a little bit more coherent. And if you've got any questions, please leave me a comment below, and if you want to send me an email or anything, my email address will be down below if you want to talk more privately about it. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.